All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Let me see, three reviews, one impressions this week. And indeed, we start off with our impressions with Topac Battle. At least I'm assuming these are called Topacs. Anyway, Topac Battle is a cozy and relaxing idle game. Buy Topac Ball, reveal cozy monsters, and level them up. Sell for a higher rarity, and become the master of the chill battle scene. From a single park to your dream setup with a rare exotic monster and ultra rare color variants. I'm honestly shocked that there was no mention of a shiny version, given the circumstances. Anyway, so Topac Battle may remind you of something right off the bat. And yeah, it's not exactly hiding its primary aesthetic influence. And that is obviously Digimon. But seriously, this is basically
a joke or not, bro.
I don't know, the little guy looks kind of like a baby Digimon, but yeah.
I mean, pick your mon, really.
I mean, fair Metabots.
But it's really Pokemon. The thing that gives it away is the Topac Ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that really gives it away, doesn't it? Because, let's face it, these are legally distinct version of the Pokeball.
Indeed.
So, I mean, with that in mind, this is not the only thing that this game is aping. In terms of, well, what could be called gameplay, because this game mentioned it's an idle game. But that's only partially correct. So, you see the park portion here. This is the idle portion, which is only half the game. Here it presents itself as basically if my Pokemon Ranch were an idle game. This is where you activate the Topacmons and they get raised. Basically, actually, now that I think about it, it's more akin to Sonic Adventures Chow Garden. Though not as elaborate. It doesn't go full Tamagotchi here. Because, you don't have to...
Engaging, let's be honest.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. You don't have to feed them or keep track of their droppings, that sort of thing. You just let them wander in the Topac Park, and, they will gain experience. Or, you can do the other way and just close the app and check back every once in a while. And, you come back and the Topacs will have accumulated a amount of experience. And that's based off of the seed fodder they eat. And that's one of the upgrades that you can buy in the menu. And here's the other part. Because here's the thing. It says it's an idle game. That's only half true. Because the actual battles, this is also an auto battle. Which is not exactly the same as an idle game. It's not too far off the mark, I will grant. but it's still something that requires more engagement than this. Not much, but I'd still put it a half step above full-on idle game. You know, it's just the strategy comes at the beginning. You know, in regard, or at least that's the idea. Honestly, maybe this is something that will be implemented along the way, but right now, you always fly blind when you go into the auto battler, mainly because you can't see what you're fighting. Like it's like, I don't know if it, like the counter monsters or whatever are based off of anything, but you know, you congregate your forces, which at the start are, you only have access to 2 hexagons. Like, and that's another upgrade. You know, as you go on, you can buy more hexagons, but even that is restricted in its tactical application, if any, because you can't pick the hexagon. Like, you will be getting a hexagon in the front row, as opposed to if you wanted to buy a hexagon in the middle or the back row. And admittedly, I don't exactly know if there's any sort of row positioning in this game, or if that has yet to be implemented. Because this is in early access, so there is a good chance that not just content but features may be on the way. And indeed, just looking at the early access notes, there are new battle scenes in the works, as well as a full-on PvP mode coming in the future. But since we're looking at it in the here and now, those are not available. Like I said, in terms of whether you win or lose, I'm guessing it's up to chance right now.
I guess
Because
since the controversy that was Power World, I mean, if these are like actual creations or are these like AI generated, or do you know?
as far as I know, no AI.
And none of them looked like they were ripped off directly from Pokemon.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I know AI wasn't involved with this because it's on Steam. Like, currently Steam doesn't allow AI games onto the service. Not for any sort of altruistic reason, but right now AI is just a minefield of liability. And Valve is just not dealing with that shit right now.
I mean, that's probably one of the more valid takes.
Yeah. Unless they've quietly reversed that position, like, which could be a thing that happened. Like, just last time I heard, Valve wasn't allowing generative AI on its storefront. Like, they tend to do that with the next big controversy. Like, you know, remember when they kicked NFT games off of their service? Once again, not necessarily for any sort of moral stance, but just they felt it was too big of a liability.
Yeah.
So I do want to keep that in perspective. You know. And there are also, much like Pokemon, different levels of Pokeball in ascending orders of monetary value. It is worth noting, at least right now, all of the purchasables, they're not microtransactions, and they don't cost real money. So everything's in game. How you earn currency, typically winning a battle, or you can sell off a monster. Like, you raise it up, and the idea is, hopefully that mon will increase in value. And, just kind of lather, rinse, repeat. For the most part. At least, for the time being. Like, the other thing you're shooting for is Topac Park expansions and more Topac Parks. Like, see, right now there is a limited capacity in terms of how many Topac can occupy a park. I think the default is 15. Like, and obviously, you should theoretically be able to put that many on a field. I'll be honest, I didn't count how many hexagons were a part of the field. Because honestly, that is something that you're not unlocking for a very long time. It's like the upper Topac balls here, or the upper baits. Like, those are going to take some time. But that's kind of the idea here. Since this is, at the very least, part idle game. But it is more proactive than a lot of idle games, since it's got that auto-battler component as well. And, theoretically, there might be some strategy here somewhere. If not now, maybe in the future. And that's basically the rundown of what Topac Battle is. So as far as how well it comes together, well, I will say it accomplishes its goals fairly well. In that, it's definitely an idle game. I'm honestly surprised Pokemon hasn't tried its hand at a full-on idle game.
I mean, they kind of do with Pokemon Sleep. That's about the closest we have right now.
Yeah. I mean, something like
That's
this.
not an idle game. It's just a game that you sleep during.
Yeah, that's the closest we have to an idle game. It's not an actual idle game.
But as I said, I think the actual closest they got was My Pokemon Ranch, or you could make the argument, something like Hey You Pikachu. And even that stuff had more interactivity than something like this. Still, I'm sort of surprised that Pokemon hasn't tried this, at least, some kind of mobile spin-off. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Pokemon Unite exists. So, it's not like they haven't tarnished the brand by going down with a scummy play type before. But, as it stands right now, there is nothing like this game in the world of Pokemon. So it does stand tall on those merits. This isn't a thing that's like ripping off, a Pokemon game wholesale or a Pokemon spin-off, and you just say go and buy Pokemon Snap, for example. But as far as an idle game goes, it's definitely less involved than other idle games we've covered on this channel. Like, I was even at the beginning, I wasn't spending much time with Topac battles. And when I say the beginning, I mean starting out. Mainly because you're encouraged to not stick around. Because, you start off with the baby Topacs, and, you kind of have to go off and do something before you really engage in the auto battling. At least that was my takeaway. But I think my biggest problem with this game isn't the idle park. That's fine, honestly. Especially since, you don't get, experience or anything from the actual battles. There's still a point to the battles, which does put it up further than, say, any of the more recent Paper Mario games. Because you get money from that. Yeah, I mean, you still get experience there, but, it's kind of negligible in comparison to just letting your mons grow while you're away. The problem I have is the auto battler. Once again, I get it. It's keeping in the idle theming. But, honestly, this kind of, it's a Pokemon-alike. You're kind of expecting some kind of strategy here.
I can see there's, different types and stuff like that, but I don't control who I fight. So it's hard for me to make a, typing decision.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm hoping that, they add the ability to, show your opponents and, compare stats at the very least. Okay, fine, you don't want to go full on, turn-based Pokemon or whatever. Fine, but, this needs some actual strategy.
And there are some battles I get, I can just freaking stomp them. There are some that are impossible.
This has happened to me as well. It's a, it's a literal dice roll. So, it seems to be what they're going for. So, they managed to achieve the goal, but I don't think it works well in the context of, monster fighting. Not when I guess you're not supposed to form. This is another thing that differs from Pokemon, because it doesn't seem like you are supposed to form any sort of attachment, given that you can sell off these creatures very easily, and are kind of encouraged to, because that's a way of gathering money faster.
Right, and then you can just get better Topac balls.
Yeah. I mean, Monster Rancher... it's been a few decades since I've played a Monster Rancher game. But, Monster Rancher had a ton of strategy to it.
Mostly in the raising. You have to get kind of good at raising your monsters before they'll do more, before you can control them in battle.
Yeah, I was about to say, Monster Rancher quadrupled down on the whole Shimigami Tensei breeding aspect.
Well, it's not even that. It's how you train them.
Right.
After you. But yes,
my point is
the whole monster design gimmick in Monster Rancher is okay, I'm gonna combine these two monsters, and for like, it's possible to combine almost any two monsters, and if there's not a special thing, what you'll end up with is something that looks approximately like one monster wearing the other one's not biological skin, but like texture.
Well, but once again, there's strategy there. You've got, and in fact, that's some long-term strategy. Because you've got to plan out your not just first fusion, but fusions down the line. Like, once again, not the only game that highlighted that aspect. Shin Megami Tensei and Dragon Quest Jokers did this as well. That is a strategy subset. This game doesn't have that. Like I said, right now the strategy seems to be in the idle web, if you will. Because it has one of those. We've seen this in other games like Leaf Blower Simulator or Plantera, where you earn currency and you buy more stuff. It's just, in this case, it's all related to the Topac here. Buying better Topac, more Topac, buying better seeds, buying better parks, more capacity. It's all, that idle web work is here. And it's on the lighter side because, there's no reset key as far as I can tell. Which is another fixture of some idle games where, you get to a certain point and you're encouraged to just detonate the whole thing and start again. And you get a certain amount of, let's say, meta points that can unlock something. We've covered that kind of idle game on the program as well. So, on the whole, Topac Battle is at the very least an interesting experiment in the idle genre. I can't think of anyone else who's doing something like this in this space. So, get points for that. It's just, I think it needs a bit more meat on the Mon bones somewhere. At least those are my impressions for the moment. Especially if they're planning on, it could be in the PvP mode.
Have they expressed plans on doing a PvP mode?
They have. There's no date for it, but it says in the early access notes that they are planning to add a PvP mode. So, that could be where the strategic thinking maybe laying in wait. Also worth noting, this game is a long-term early access title because it just released to early access about a month ago at time of recording, and they are aiming to have this in early access to 1 to 1.5 years. So, and they're planning to do incremental upgrades. So, once again, this is why we do impressions. These are my impressions of the game as it is, as of when we record an episode. So, in a year's time, this thing could look very different, or it could have some differences. Do keep that in mind. Anyway, so in terms of pricing, right now the game clocks in at $3.99, which is a pretty standard idle price. If I'm recalling, that's how much the Plantera games were. More than Leaf Blower. I'm trying to remember the other idle games we did, and I'm kind of drawing a blank. Like, we've done some free idle games as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, this isn't any sort of ridiculous price here. Like, anyway, let me see. No, community, full access. Looking. Okay, so it is worth quantifying that there are 18 Topac types currently, 7 rarity systems, and 3 generations. So I'm guessing the strategy there comes to play with that dynamic. But once again, that seems like a bit of an investment. I'm like, and I'm not sure this game has enough to pull that off. Though I suppose that's kind of why they may have gone with the idle route in the first place. Anyway, not sure if they are planning to raise the price as it goes along. Once again, that is something only time will tell. But I give this a cautious recommendation. It's just, with the nature of the beast, I see most people just falling off on this before, like, perhaps the full fruits of the strategy contained with this game can be unfurled. Like, because as it is in the beginning, where it is now, it's pretty shallow in terms of the stratagem. Anything you want to add, Petty?
Not really.
Okay, then.
This is a game of time.
Yeah. Anyway, so that'll about do it for Topac Battle here. Stay tuned after the break, as Petty Fan will be reviewing Uramangi Generation.